Greetings, 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 everyone. Joyce Kyles here, your global speaker, author, trainer, and coach. I am so excited to bring to you another episode of Create Yourself Imagery, Intimacy, and Innovation. Today, I have the privilege of introducing to some and presenting to others someone that is very dear to me. I care so very much for this young lady professionally and personally. She is the owner of Hypkandy Body Adornments, and her name is Carlotta Woods. I'm going to give you a little bit of info, a little bio about her, and then we're just going to jump right in. But she has such an amazing product, and I really want you all to lean into this one and take in why she does what she does. I think you will find it to be inspiring. So, Carlotta Woods is the founder of Hip Candy Body Adornments, a business inspired by her love for beading and waist beads. After 4 years of exploring beading as a form of relaxation, Carlotta was introduced to waist beads by a friend and quickly became captivated by their rich history and cultural significance. Creating waist beads for herself not only supported her weight loss journey, but it also sparked a deep sense of empowerment. Motivated to share the healing benefits she experienced, Carlotta founded Hip Candy to offer others the opportunity to embrace the art of waist beads and their transformative power. Through Hip Candy, she hopes to inspire and support others on their journeys of self-love and healing. So without further ado, I present to you the one, the only Carlotta Woods, owner of Hip Candy Body Adornments. Welcome, Carlotta.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am well and excited about this interview for personal and professional reasons, which we will go into later. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good this morning. Thank you for asking.
All right. So I already shared a little bit about your journey, just reading your bio. But right now, I want you to just take us on your own Create Yourself journey. I want you to really delve a little bit deeper into why you decided this particular path for yourself and for the waist.
Absolutely. So I started beading as a form of relaxation, honestly. I had a friend that was creating waist beads by hand at the time who wanted me to participate in a photo shoot for her. From that, I was very intrigued with waist beads. I wanted to learn more about them, just their history. I came to find and just kind of fall in love with their history overall. Waist beads are much more than just a fashion statement. There's history behind it, there's art behind it. These adornments actually started over in Africa centuries and centuries ago. Um, and they wore waist beads for various reasons. The waist beads was a way to be able to identify which tribe a person may belong to. It was also a way of adorning babies when they were born. Also, it was a way to celebrate women as they started their administration. And there's a really misconception I feel about waist beads, and that is that women only wear waist beads. If you look at pictures from where these beads originated from over in Africa, you will find that there are also males that wear waist beads as well. Another thing that I feel like is a really bad misconception with this day and age with people wearing waist beads is size. And that's very disheartening for me. When I started wearing waist beads, I was actually heavier in weight than what I am now. And so we can get into a little bit of that later if you like to, but I really just fell in love with waist beads and where they came from and beading and the relaxation that it brought me, the calmness that it brought to me, the connection that I felt to my ancestors with the waist beads, the security and self-confidence that they brought to me. And so I made them for, created them for someone else. Didn't really expect to go anywhere. I was just doing it out of the kindness of my heart, if you will, because I shared my story with them and they were interested in waist beads and wanted to try them as well. And after talking with her and following up with her after she had had her waist beads for some time, I decided that I didn't want to just keep this to myself. It was too good to just keep to myself. I wanted to share with other people and I wanted them to be able to experience what she and I experienced, that wholeness, that healing, being able to aid me in my weight loss journey. Um, Another thing that I really love about the waist beads, mention of my weight loss journey. Um, when you tie on your waist beads, you kind of decide where you want them to sit or you want them to rest. And if you happen to gain inches or gain weight, if you will, those beads will roll up. However, as you start to lose, they roll down. Now, the waist beads that I create are made by hand, and I create them to be tied on. For me, they are not uncomfortable. I've never talked to anyone that has expressed that they are uncomfortable. However, I do create them with the class because some people are just not used to having them on every day. What I've found from wearing them every day is that they begin to start to feel like a second skin, and you kind of forget that they're even there. So it's a nice way to feel confident, to accessorize, kind of have that mommy top or that muffin top, if you will. I've heard a lot of women say. Um, but yeah, to just overall just brings a different sense of peace and self-awareness and comfortability in your own skin.
Wow. I am always learning something new when you and I talk about not just your waist beat journey, but also the history. And, I have shared with you very candidly that I did not know the history of waist beats until you started your own journey. So I've always appreciated you sharing about your experiences with them personally, but then also bringing clarity and understanding about them not just being a fashion statement. There's so much rich history to learn about, who we are in our culture and how it goes back, for centuries. The fact that you mentioned that men have worn them and men do wear them, that's another myth that you quickly dispelled, that people may not be aware of, about the size. I mean, just so many gems. And that's why I am hoping that people will really lean into understanding that they are not just a fashion statement. It is about confidence. It's about our history. It's about, the babies and how they've been used to adorn babies. That was something new that I did not know until this particular conversation. So I thank you for just being so open and so candid and sharing, not just about your specific journey with it all, but also just dispelling myths so that people can know and understand that there are multiple ways that you can wear them and why you may wear them a certain way. The fact that you prefer tying versus the clasp, but that you offer those as a service either way. So tell us a little bit more about just all the services that you offer through Hypkandy Body Adornments. What all do you make?
Absolutely. So at this time, I am creating, like I say, the waist beads to either be tied on or to be used with the clasp. The clasp is just a small lobster closing or lobster tail, excuse me, closing lobster clasp, excuse me, very much like what you would find on, let's say, a necklace. I also create beaded bracelets for women and children. Um, as of right now, that is about all that we are offering. However, I am planning to expand our inventory. At one point, I was creating beaded pins. We're going to start offering those again. We're going to be merging over or stepping over into candles and journals as well. And I'll be sure to keep you guys updated in the event that we extend beyond that. Right now, I'm just trying to take my time. I want to make sure that I pour myself into my business, into, my beads and things in a way that I'm able to continue to be able to tell my story and connect with others. So I'm not trying to rush the process because I want it to be done in an authentic way. Um, I love beading. I love my waist beads. So that's the biggest focal point of Hypkandy.
Okay. One thing that I do want to lift up that you mentioned, and that was the healing aspect of it all. So can you talk to us just briefly about like the beads themselves and the power that they give, not just in the confidence, but that, certain stones have certain meanings too. So if you would just talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So with the waist beads, some of them are just straight beads, just 6 or 8 beads anyone is familiar with what that means. And basically, the larger the number, the larger the bead, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
preferably, I go with a 6O bead just because it's not too big, not too small, because again, you still want to be comfortable in those beads. But I also use various gemstones in my beads as well. I give my all of my crystals, all of my beads, all of my stones what I consider to be a bath. Um, After the beads have been washed and cleaned and dried, I do set them in a windowsill just to get some natural light. Hear a lot of people talking about different crystals and healing properties and things like that. Um, with the crystals, I tend to try to talk with customers first to get an understanding of what it is that they're looking for. So if they're looking for, excuse me, a healing crystal, for example, which is something that I really focus on with hip candy, chakras and things like that. Give me one moment, please.
So while you are adjusting, I think that that is a great point that needs to be lifted up. That with your business, it is not just a matter of selling waist beads for fashion, that there is a lot of thought that goes into the size and why you choose the size that you do. There's a lot of thought in talking with your customers first, getting an idea of what they are looking for. Some people may not know exactly what they're looking for. And so I know of you personally that you ask questions so that you can get a sense of your customer and make suggestions about which types of beads or which types of crystals may be best for them and their particular needs. And I can certainly speak to that and talk about it, not just from a professional perspective of having worked with you, but because I am so proud to say that you are my daughter. You're my oldest daughter. And because of that, I've been able to witness and watch your journey, from the very beginning. And so you have taught me so much about this entire process. And it is truly one of those creating yourself type of things where it speaks to imagery, it speaks to intimacy, it's speaking to innovation. I really feel like the work that you're doing with Hip Candy is about all three. It's about, embracing our body types and finding ourselves beautiful, no matter what skin you're in, and adorning it that way. And when it comes to intimacy, loving yourself and finding ways to heal and innovation, just you're a business owner. You are a Black woman, you are an entrepreneur, and you are doing it. And so you represent and embody what Create Yourself is about. And you just so happen to be my daughter. So I am personally and professionally proud.
Well, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. Um, I'm doing the best that I can as I go. In being able to talk with customers and learn their story and where they are in their growth, I take a lot of pride in that. Of course, I can't talk to every customer, that chooses to order, but when I do have that opportunity to make a special piece for someone, as I was saying before I had to step away, I like to be able to talk to them to get to know a little bit about their story and share my story with them. Um, People feel differently about the crystals and the stones, and that's the reason why I like to be able to create both, so that if that's not something that you're knowledgeable of, or something that you agree with or that you're into, you still have an option um, to wear the waist beads and get to know my story and share your story. And in that, I have found that some people have changed my mind about some things, and I've been able to change some people's minds about some things. So that's always really good when I'm able to, connect with people in that manner. So the rose quartz is um, one of the stones that I like the most. Um, that is to help stimulate your mood and your body. I come in contact with a lot of people on a daily basis, and so it's very important to me to always try to be at a place of peace, at a place of calm, Um, Another one that I really like is also the clear quartz. Um, it is considered to be the most powerful healing crystal. Again, it goes back to that energy and balance. It's also known as the master healer. I actually wear a set, and I've had this set for about 3 years now. Um, and this set is made of clear beads, excuse me, a pearl bead and the clear quartz um, on that one strand. And then the second strand that I wear is just of the pearl beads. And that's a set that I created for myself.
Okay.
Um, and with making that, my intention was to create a set that was providing me the energy that I felt that I needed at that time and the peace that I felt that I needed at that time. And that's one thing that I really love about the waist beads and being able to kind of center myself and ground myself. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah. That is, like I
sorry, it's
said, you,
emotional.
yeah. And that is, we do not apologize. Do not apologize. That is the whole point of these these podcasts. So I really want people to connect. I want them to know that specifically with this particular interview, that it is a journey, that it is about self-reflection and healing and transitioning. Um, I have been known or am known for telling folks at the end of my sessions, whether it's coaching, whether it's speaking, podcasting, I always say, let's transition, transform, and thrive together. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's what we're doing here. So yeah, absolutely. I am glad that it is giving you what you need, what you needed, what you continue to need on your own personal journey. And I certainly can speak to what it's done for me in my own journey. But this is your podcast and your time. So, so I will, we may have to do a part two where we talk a little bit more about those things because again, yeah, this is about what it means to create yourself in those different spaces, and you are one who is doing it in all three. So I think this is probably a good time then as we wrap up our time together to ask what main point or points you would want people to take away from as we wrap up our session for today.
Um, I want people to take away that waist beads are much more than little beads. They are much more than just a cute little fashion accessory or piece of jewelry. Um, what started out for me as just something to kind of do in my spare time and make nice pieces turned into something that I never imagined. It has helped me to grow and develop as a person in ways that I never thought that I would have ever imagined. Um, Something as simple as beads. And sometimes
Mm,
I kind of look at my inventory of beads and I'm taken aback that something so small and to what may seem like to some is very insignificant holds so much power and so much gratitude. Waist beads are whatever you want them to be. They can be worn how you want them to be worn. And they are made for everyone of all shapes and sizes. You are not too little. You are not too small. You are perfect just the way that you are. Allow your waist beads to tell your story. One last thing before I go. I want to speak to one of the collections that I have, and that is my solid collection. Our solid collection is pretty much just one solid color of beads complemented by gold accents. And what I really love about the solid collection is that while the beads come in a green or orange or purple or blue, as you decide which color is right for you, which style is right for you for whatever reason, What you don't realize is that you've already set the stage to begin to tell your story. Once you start to tie those waist beads on, as you tie them on, I want people to think about what are they willing to hold on to as they tie? And as the scissors cut the excess string, what is it that they're wanting to let go? And I want people to grab that collection in multiple colors and build their story from there. So the ones with the stones and the thing, those are great. And again, depending on what you're looking for, that may be your starting place. But if you're just getting into it and you're wanting to just see what they can offer you, if they could be beneficial to you, I say start there. And when you tie on, again, you make your affirmations, you decide what things you are pulling into you, what you are tying on with your waist beads. That is step one of your story. Excuse me, step two. Step one is choosing which color, which mood, which strand is for you. Then the third step, cutting it off and letting go. I also suggest lighting a candle when you do it. Bathe before putting on your waist beads. Because again, your waist beads tell a story. And if you allow them to, those little beads, quote unquote, can be a very powerful tool and awaken something in you that you don't realize maybe that needs to be awakened. It can heal you and provide you a certain security that you've been looking for. And with that, I will end.
Wow. Just wow. Like I said, personally and professionally, I am so very proud of you and your journey, the things that you have taught me on this journey, the things that I am learning and still learning, just down to the colors and the meanings and choosing. I love the way that you pulled everything together by sharing, what are you willing to tie on and what are you willing to cut off? And the process that goes into all of it. It is beautiful. There is nothing to say. I feel like you have just given a full mic drop. The only thing that I ask of you is to tell the people how they can get in touch with you, and also know that I will be sharing all this same information on the flyers, and it'll be attached so that people can actually see it in words on all of the outlets of which this will be shown. So it'll be on our site. It'll be, shown on the flyers. It'll be shown everywhere that we are presenting this podcast to. So it will be in writing. But for our listeners, tell them what is the best way to connect with you.
Absolutely. So the best way to connect with me right now would be on TikTok. That's going to be at Lotta Chantel, LOTTASHANTEL. In my bio, if you click that link, it'll take you to my link tree, which will tell you a little bit more about Hypkandy, where you can find our products and how to contact me directly. And if you want to just see some visuals and pictures of different waist beads and things that we offer, you can find those on Lemon 8 at Hypkandy Body Adornments.
All right, you heard it from Carlotta Woods, owner of Hypkandy Body Adornments. You heard it directly from her. This has been an excellent podcast. Carlotta, thank you so much for joining us today and to share your story so candidly and helping us to understand more about what it means to just own our story, tell our story, and allowing our waist beads to tell our stories for us and adorn our bodies in a beautiful, symbolic way. So, thank you so much for joining us and giving us of your time and so much of yourself. It is really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate you.
And with that, we will conclude today's episode of Create Yourself Imagery, Intimacy, and Innovation. I am Joyce Kyles, your global speaker, teacher, trainer, author, and coach. Wishing you a wonderful day, a wonderful journey. And remember to let us transition, transform, and thrive together.